Hi, I'm Scott Stein, Senior Editor at CNET. Now, it doesn't come along so often that we'll see a gaming laptop that attempts to redesign or redefine what's going on in the world of gaming laptops. But Razer has attempted to do just that with a laptop that you probably heard about, the Razer Blade. And we talked about this for about a year. Now it is coming out at a price that's not cheap at all. It is $2,800. What do you get for that? Well, this laptop is under an inch thick. It's only about 6.4 pounds and has a big 17.3-inch screen, and it is oriented towards gamers. The graphics are maybe a tad less robust than you get on some laptops like Alienware's or, pumped up to the gill Origin laptops. This is an NVIDIA GT555 graphics inside, and it's got a Core i7 processor, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and a 256 gigabyte SSD. That is built in one configuration that's available on Razer's site. Now, there's no optical drive on this laptop. There's a solid-state, no optical drive machine, and the idea is that you're going to be connecting in the cloud with your Steam and your Origin and downloading that way, which a lot of gamers already do. The new hardware that this brings to the table is the Switchblade UI. And if you remember back a couple of CESs ago, we showed this concept device called the Switchblade that Razer had made that was almost a gaming netbook. Had a touch screen that also worked as the touchpad with a whole bunch of customizable buttons. Well, that survived here, and it's off to the right-hand side, replacing where the number pad would be. Theoretically, what you can do with this is you can show anything on that second screen and use it as a touchpad. Plus, there are 10 buttons up here that have customizable graphics that pop up on them that can be used for anything from launching applications to being used for recording macros and all sorts of other functions. And not just those 10, but with a 3-finger swipe across the screen, you can bring up many sets of 10. So if you're playing some sort of in-depth game with a lot of different transactions, well, you can nerd out to your heart's content with recordable macros and all that stuff. Now, certain games, maybe about 10 to 15 of them, Razer says, are going to be specifically designed with a certain number of buttons in mind and graphic assets that Razer is going to supply. However, you can customize your own looks for buttons and put in your own graphic assets. So that's nice that you can do that. As far as the screen goes, well, right now you can pull up some apps that allow you to play YouTube videos or check Facebook or use Gmail, but other than sort of a glorified web browser on a second screen, there really aren't any games yet that take advantage of that, which is a shame because you could easily see how that could be used, especially for any sort of microtransaction system or any game that has a lot of strategy functions. It's going to be a bit of a disconnect, however, if you're planning on using a trackpad and you're used to where it is. I kept reaching for this phantom trackpad over here and not finding it. It's over on this side. It's ergonomically fine to use it over here once you get used to it, but it just threw me off a little bit. Plus, when it comes to ports, there are a bunch of ports on the left-hand side, none on the right side. So if you want to plug in a mouse or something like that, you got to funnel it over here onto the left side to deal with that. $2,800 is not chump change, and that's a lot to invest in a concept type of device, which in a lot of ways this is, and it is a real gaming laptop, but you are sort of having this sacrifice a little bit for graphic robustness in terms of a slimness of design, 6.4 pounds, which is in the lighter end of gaming laptops, but it's still not light compared to a regular laptop. This Switchblade UI syncs up with Synapse, which is Razer's cloud syncing service for saving all of your customizable macro settings. Now, the idea is that you could save your settings and then plug in, they have one of these UIs in a gaming keyboard or plug in one of their other peripherals and be able to sync across devices. I'm Scott Stein, and that's a first look at the Razer Blade gaming laptop.